Hey, LCC family, Pastor Mike here of Lockport Christian Church. We are in day 2 of our journey through Jesus last week. Some people call it the Passion Week. And we are in day 2. We're in Mark chapter 11. We're going to pick up in verse 27. So it says, they arrived again in Jerusalem. And while Jesus was walking in the temple courts, the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders came to him. By what authority are you doing these things, they asked, and who gave you the authority to do this? And Jesus replied, I will ask you one question. Answer me, and I will tell you by what authority I am doing these things. John's baptism, was it from heaven or of human origin? Tell me. So the teachers, the religious leaders of the law, they kind of all circle around Jesus. And they're trying to trip Jesus up. They're trying to trick him. They're trying to get him to reveal that he's not really God's son, that he's not really from heaven, that his authority really doesn't come from God the Father. And so they ask him, whose authority do you do these things by? And Jesus asked them one question because he knows that the group of people asking him this question, he knows that none of them agree on the answer. Okay, so a bunch of people come together. They want to know about Jesus. He says, hey, I'll answer your question if you answer me one question. Whose authority did John the Baptist's baptism come from? And was it heaven or was it human origin? Let me tell you something. These guys did not agree about this. And so read on in verse 31. It says, they discussed it among themselves and said, if we say from heaven, he will ask, then why didn't you believe him? But if we say of human origin, they feared the people, for everyone held that John was really a prophet. So they answered Jesus, we don't know. And Jesus said, neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things. So these guys were asked one question by Jesus, and because they feared people, and they didn't want to upset the crowds, they didn't want the truth. All they had to do was answer honestly. All they had to do was answer Jesus how they really felt, but they couldn't agree on it. And they did not want to upset anyone. So they didn't answer the question that Jesus asked them, and they didn't get the truth. Let me tell you something. Even back in Jesus' days, when this Bible was written, people still fought over the details of religion. And that's the biggest thing about religion instead of relationship. Religion gets caught up on the details, but relationship overlooks details. It didn't matter some of the details that the Pharisees and Sadducees would argue about. It didn't matter the small little things that they would get so caught up in. The same way it doesn't matter about the little details that we still get caught up in today when it comes to defending our religion. Because these religious teachers, because they could not agree on the details, because they were so fearful of man's opinion and what men thought of them, they didn't even answer Jesus' question, and they did not get the truth. Here's what I want you to learn about today. These religious leaders, they did not want the truth because they were not willing to overlook the details. Religion and religious people get caught up in the details. They have to argue and debate and let people know where they stand, how they feel. They have to create their hills that they'll die on, so to speak. So we all have our hills that we defend, and nothing's going to change, and we're going to believe this no matter what. And people who are religious, people who are caught up in religion, always have to worry about the details of their religion. But when it comes to relationship, if you really love someone, you easily overlook the details. You don't care how they squeeze the toothpaste. You don't care how they make the bed, if they make it at all. You don't care how they like to watch TV, whether they scroll through the channels or they pick one thing and stay on it even if it's during the commercials. Like, relationship and love looks completely past all of those things. And so I'm asking you today, when it comes to the way that you've been thinking lately, have you been thinking more like religion or more like relationship? Now let me ask you something. These guys, let me tell you something. These guys, they wanted to know who, like, by what authority Jesus came to. And Jesus came as a son. And sons know their authority and they know their father. Because sons are all about relationship, not religion. So when we function in a way that we have to fight over the details and be right about the little things, we don't walk in our true authority as sons of the Father like we are. You and I, we're sons. You and I don't partake in a religion with God. We have a relationship with God. We're heirs. We're sons. We're daughters of the Most High King. So when we walk into a room, we walk in knowing our authority, knowing that we don't have to squabble over the details, knowing that we don't have to fear man and what their reaction to the truth will be. We can walk in true authority just like Jesus did and know that it's about relationship and not religion. So on the second day, let's remember that Jesus established his sonship by not debating over details, but by looking over those things into relationship. So that's day 2 of our journey this week into Passion Week. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.